Greetings, my name is Kerri and welcome back to my channel. That's really bright behind me. So once again I'm sat in my room because this is where all the books are that I've sorted out. This is where all the books are that I've sorted out that I am now unhauling. So I've got quite a lot here that I'm unhauling today. I'm really proud of myself actually. I've been quite strict with myself. If you've seen my, was it my 2018 wrap up or my 2019 reading plans? No, it was my 2018 wrap up where I said that I was being really ruthless because I needed to get my TBR down to below what it was at the end of last year because my TBR keeps going in the wrong direction and it's really bad. So I've been really strict with myself. I've unhauled a load of books. So I'm going to go through them now. I'm going to start with ones that I have read and then I'm going to move on to some that I have not read. We're also going to be talking about some book death row ones, so I'm going to go through them. So first we have two series that I'm unhauling. These are ones that I've read and don't plan to reread. First of those is the Left Behind series. I was given most of these. I bought some of them and was given quite a lot of them when I was a teenager. I read the whole series when I was in my teens, when they were hugely popular at those times. So if you are not familiar with this series, it is Christian fiction. It's a novelisation of what some people believe will happen at the end of the world. So based loosely on the very vague information that's in the Bible about the end times. And these two writers, Tim Lahaye and Jerry B. Jenkins, came up with these series of novels about what they believe will happen in the Earth's last days. So there are 12 books in that series and I did enjoy them when I was a teenager, but I just thought, you know what, I probably am not going to ever reread these. I don't particularly agree with their interpretation of the theology, and thinking back on it, the characters are quite caricatured. They're not the best written books either, so yeah, I decided not keeping them, so they are going. So I have cleared a lot of space on my shelves with those ones being gone. The other series that I've decided I probably am not going to ever reread is the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, finished off by Brandon Sanderson. So I only actually have 4 books out of this series. I was going to try and collect all of them, but it took me so long to finish the last book that I realised that I don't want to put myself through that again. There are 14 books in this series and they're all at least 700 pages long. They're very hefty, and particularly some of the ones in the middle were really slow paced, and the last one took me such a long time to get through. So I've decided that actually, realistically, I'm never going to reread these, and if I do, I expect I can get them from the library should I ever want to, but I think it's unlikely that I will do that because it's just such a commitment to a series that length. 14 books of all nearly 1,000 pages. It's that I really struggled to get through as well, some of them. The next little section are all ones that I've read this year as well, there's one book that I DNF'd, which was the Gallows poll, which was a Ninja Book Club pick, and I still hate this cover. It really freaks me out. I read about 100 pages of this and realised that I was not enjoying it and I was not going to finish it, so that one's going. We actually have another Ninja Book Club one here. This is Emily Nation by Alex McKee. This was, I can't remember what month we were meant to read this in anymore. I finished it. It was the last book I finished of 2018 and I had to force myself through the end. It started really well. I really enjoyed sort of the first third of this book, and then after that it just became a bloodbath. And it was very gruesome, very gory, very explicit violence and a heck of a lot of swearing. So really not my cup of tea. So that one's going as well. So then we've got The Bloody Chamber, which I read for the Christmas readathon. This is a collection of feminist retellings of fairy tales. I really wanted to love this, but I didn't. Just the style, really, the way that they're written, it just wasn't for me. I was a little bit disappointed, but never mind, I'm sure someone else will really enjoy that. So that one's going as well. Next we have one I read in the summer. This is non-fiction. This is called Guys Like Girls Named Jennie. This is the author's sort of memoir, I suppose. Not really a memoir, she's not really old enough to write a memoir. Anyways, it's her writing about her experience of online dating as a Christian, or just dating in general as a Christian. Actually, it's not limited to online dating. She does talk about that a little bit. But I just found her, I thought I would find this really helpful and relatable, but actually I didn't really enjoy it. So not going to reread that one. And then finally, this one I actually did quite enjoy, but again, it's one I realised I probably won't reread, and that's Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. I realised I probably wouldn't reread this one when I got the sequel out of the library and had it out for about 3 months without managing to read it. So clearly I wasn't that interested in the story or continuing it. So I realised I'm probably not ever going to reread this one, and again, if I do want to reread it, the library will have it. I might at some point carry on with the series, but probably not. So the next little section are the death row ones. So you'll have already seen my book Death Row video. If you haven't, I'll link that in the description. So I'm just going to race through these really quickly. There are a couple that I've read which were lifted by Hilary Freeman and Martyr by Rory Clements. Read both of those. They were alright, but decided I won't reread them. And then we have 4 that I tried the first chapter of and didn't like. So that's Whispers in the Sand, Behind the Scenes at the Museum, White Teeth and Zulu Hart. So they were all ones that were on death row, tried the first chapter, didn't like it, decided not to read the rest. Then we have ones that were on death row that I just decided I can't be bothered to read at all. So that is Hearts and Minds, Without Sin, Sea Glass, Second-Hand Heart, Don't Hate Me, City of Ashes, Don't Hate Me, Game of Thrones, and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Also in that little pile was The White Queen by Philippa Gregory, but my dad's taken that one because he wanted to read it. So they were all ones that were on death row that just have decided I didn't want to read. And then I've got a little stack of ones that are associated with that. So these are ones that are follow on from the ones that were on death row. So we've got A Clash of Kings. So I'm not going to read the first one, I'm not going to read the second one, am I? And likewise we've got the rest of the Millenium series. Oops, if I don't drop them. So The Girl Who Played with Fire, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, and then the follow one that was written by someone else, which is the Girl in the Spider's Web. I just decided I'm not interested. And then I've got 2 other Philippa Gregory books, The Other Queen and The Virgin's Lover. So I did read a few years ago, I read The Other Boleyn Girl and didn't like it, and that's the main reason I decided not to keep these, is because I like the history, I like historical novels, I just didn't like her style of writing. So I thought I probably wouldn't enjoy those, and again, she's such a popular author that I can get them from the library should I ever want to read them. So then the last little stack are ones that just picked off my shelves. They were ones that I was considering putting on death row, and then I just thought, you know what, I don't even want to read them that much, that I'm just not going to keep them at all. First one is Moab is My Washpot by Stephen Fry. I think this is a memoir. I do like Stephen Fry sometimes. I like him doing comedy more than him talking about himself. Yeah, so I just decided I don't really want to read it. Then we have Cold Mountain by Charles Fraser. This one I got in a charity shop around the time that the film came out. I haven't seen the film, and I just thought I don't really want to read this. Next we have Hold My Favour by Max Frisch. So this was one that was my dad's. I just decided I actually don't want to read it. I don't like the sound of the story. Sorry, phone ran out of storage, so hopefully the angle is not too different. So where was I? Okay, so I was talking about High Fidelity by Nick Hornby. So I don't really know what this is about. It just has people saying things about it on the blurb rather than actually telling you what it's about. I really enjoyed About a Boy a few years ago, but I just can't even be bothered to read a book that won't tell me what it's about. Next we have The Ghost Hunters by Neil Spring. This was a birthday present quite a few years ago from a friend. It seems to be about ghosts, obviously. I don't know whether it's quite into the horror category, but I don't really like ghosts or books about ghosts. I mean, like, in a magical realism sense, they're sort of alright, but this is a spooky psychological drama, according to that quote, and it says things like terror and horror, and if it's horror, then I definitely don't want to read it. Next we have North Riding, which is a family saga, which I bought because I confused it with another book, which I can't remember what it's called, but there was a TV series of a book, I think it was South Riding, which I do actually have now, but because the names are so similar, they're all different villages in Yorkshire, and so I thought it was that one. And again, it feels like it's a bit of a romance type novel that, yeah, anyway. Next we have The Passage by Justin Cronin. So this was one that a friend was getting rid of. I think she had 2 copies of it again. So she gave it to me. I think it's a psychological thriller again. I've heard that it's the first in a trilogy, and I think it was Mara from Books Like Quo and Dane from Dane Reads. Buddy read it earlier in the year and they both hated it. Well, Dane really didn't like it. Mara thought it was alright, but it's quite a big book, and apparently it's the first in a trilogy again, and I'm not that interested. Next we have another 3 that were given to me by my dad when he was having a clear out. So these are all by Desmond Bagley. Got Juggernaut, High Citadel and the Vivero Letter. He had quite a lot of Desmond Bagley books, and I'd already unhauled most of them, and I kept these 3, and I'm not really sure why. I had read some of his books when I was younger and kind of enjoyed them, but they're just sort of fairly standard thrillers, so I decided not keeping them anymore. And finally we have this book, Liar Liar, by MJ Arledge. So this is a crime series that is set in my hometown. And so my dad bought this one because he'd heard about this series that is set in our local area, and this one features the fire service, so he thought I might like to read it because I work for the fire service, and I was gonna read it, but then, I mean, thrillers aren't my favourite. I like sort of Agatha Christie style of murder mystery. This isn't murder mystery though, this is a, I don't know, crime thriller type. So anyway, so yeah, so that one's going as well. So that is it. That is my unhaul. I don't know how many books that is, but I will count them and I will put the number up on the screen. Yeah, I really have enjoyed unhauling all of these books, and they are all going to either to a charity shop or to a National Trust second-hand book sale. I've got a big bag of clothes and DVDs as well to go, and continuing to declutter for the next couple of weeks as I continue to sort out my spare room, so I'm sure I'll find a lot more things to turn out. So that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it. Have a chat to me down in the comments if you've got anything to say about any of these books. Please think about subscribing if you haven't already. If you want to connect with me on social media, those links are in the description, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!